big domes. And tonight, it's the home of big names and big players in a big sport. Supercross champions all have one thing in common. To win the prize, they have to race the pain. David Vuillemin won one of those championships, and he is now experiencing what it takes to win a title. He's 10 points behind the defending champ and looks to close the gap tonight. From the historic Houston Astrodome, one of 3 original venues for Supercross, it's round 11 of EA Sports Supercross, presented by Speed Stick. Hello, everyone. I'm Art Ekman. We've never had a Supercross season without a visit to the Houston Astrodome, America's first dome stadium. And as we get ready for this year's version, we're witnessing an incredible turnaround by Ricky Carmichael, the defending champion. No one has ever gone from last to first in only 9 rounds before this year, but look at these incredible statistics in Ricky Carmichael's turnaround. 20th in the opening round at Anaheim, and then coming back to win 6 of 7 races. Anything can happen, as Ricky will tell you, and could happen. Here's practice earlier this afternoon in the whoop section. He gets a little squirrely and goes down hard. Ricky Carmichael is okay out of this incident. Joining us now, former champion David Bailey. And David, I don't care if he crashes in qualifying or practice, this guy gets it up for the main.
He does. And, you know, I don't see any reason why he won't run the table from here to Vegas. Now, this is a kid who started the season with a mild concussion, a broken bone in his hand, and at one point, 35 points to make up on David Vuillemin. But then it was David Vuillemin's turn to have bad luck. An injured shoulder in a practice crash. This was last week after the main event in New Orleans, 3rd place, obviously in pain. Now, a lot of people are on his case, especially after he rode so well in practice this afternoon, posting the fastest lap, for not riding in Daytona and throwing this championship away. But I like to think, rather, that Carmichael applied the pressure, winning all these races, and took the points lead back. Now, a rider who's missing from the field tonight who could challenge Ricky, he's got the speed and heart, is Travis Pastrana. It looks like he's going to make his return at St. Louis. Now, the battle for 3rd is really getting good. Let's go down to Davey Coombs now for more on that.
With Carmichael and Vuillemin 1-2 in points, the battle for 3rd heats up between these 2 and this 7-time champion. While Team Kawasaki's Roncada and Lusk have each had a podium in the last 2 races, it's the Frenchman Roncada that seems like he has all the momentum coming out of the Kawasaki truck. But don't forget about Jeremy McGrath. Going back to 1993, McGrath has never finished lower than 2nd in the final EA Sports Supercross point standings. And I got to tell you, today in practice, he was looking like the Jeremy of old. With a good start, you just might see the number 2 Bud Light Yamaha back in the winner's circle. Now with our Suzuki storylines, here's Art.
First of all, it's Ricky's run. He's only 4 wins away from McGrath's all-time win record in consecutive seasons. Vuillemin's condition. Can he recover to winning form? And 3 riders, Lusk, Roncada, and McGrath, are all within 4 points of one another, battling for 3rd. David, let's check out that Speed Stick track map.
If you ask the top 20 guys here tonight in the 250 class, what do you think of the track? They're all going to tell you they love it, and they love the dirt here. One of the longest starts of the year. As usual, that whoop section is really going to separate guys, and we'll see some block passes before the finish line triple.
And our starting lineup for our first heat of qualifying action for the 250s. David Vuillemin, 3-time winner this year, 10 points back in 2nd. Ezra Lusk tied for 3rd in points. Nathan Ramsey, his first full year on a 250. Nicholas Way, a top privateer. He's gunning for that title. Waugh, Pavolny, Clark, Evans, Wilson, Jeff Gibson had to jump off a 125 bike and jump on a 250 bike. He's trying to make the main in both classifications. We go sideways. We're ready to go for the 250s from the Astrodome in Houston. Kawasaki bike at number 12. David Vuillemin jumps into the lead. Vuillemin with a great move. Nathan Ramsey in 3rd.
This is Ryan Clark with a good run. He's already in qualifying position if he can hold it. He's 4th. There's Nathan Ramsey just to our left. See it protecting the inside into this right-hand corner. Now watch Nathan triple. Beautiful. They'll make this left to get the signal from their mechanics, although it's too early to really know it. He knows what he needs to do. Stay here. Almost gets blocked past. See eighth and triple into that corner, and already the leaders get away. So 2 faster lines in the first half a lap. That's the gap you look at.
Sebastien was right behind him as far as qualifying is concerned. He's the finest rider out of Canada right now.
How about Vuillemin? I mean, last week, gutted it out. And it looked like he milked that pain a little bit at the end of the race. He had his shirt off, grimacing in pain. He wanted everyone to know that thing hurt. But still, I'm sure it did, and he put it together for a podium, and here he's already pulling away. Plus, the fastest lap of the practice session. The guy is really coming back strong.
Check out the field as they go through our camera range right now. Vuillemin, Lusk, Ramsey, Waugh, Clark, Pavoni, Way, Watts, Mason, Thomas, Israel, Wilson, Frenette, also out of Canada, Evans, Papworth, Armstrong, Townsend. But it's David Vuillemin, number 12. Boy, he was impressive the way he leaped out of that pack.
Well, he was smart. You can see him just drag racing Lusk all the way to the first corner. A little quick adjustment to the clutch right there. It didn't look like he was going to get that great of a start, but dove to the inside and hopped up over that little triple staircase. That's going to be the key. It's not the guy that's the first of the corner. It's the guy that executes the corner the best who's going to get the whole shot.
Lusk starts to pull up on Vuillemin a little bit. Vuillemin has only won 1 qualifier all season long. Lusk has taken a couple qualifiers in the last 3 races.
Yeah, he's won, actually, I think he's won 3 heats now. But it doesn't matter. The main event is what matters the most. It's nice to win the heat. It's good to see Ezra has the speed.
You're right, 3 out of 4. And there's Nathan Ramsey. 4-stroke Honda. You can hear it.
That's turning that big bore Honda on a dime, too. He pivoted the thing right around. He's riding well, but he's already losing time to Vuillemin and Lusk. Lusk is starting to fly the heat to Vuillemin out front. And there you can see Ricky. He doesn't even care what's going on. All that matters is what he's able to do. Get the best out of himself, and that should be good enough. It doesn't matter what these other guys are doing.
Vuillemin, Lusk, Ramsey, Waugh in 4th position.
Ramsey looking over at those guys coming out of the corner. Lusk has a place on the track. They get over near the first corner where he's able to get a little close. He had a good run on Vuillemin through the whoops the last time, and then Vuillemin opens it back up through this section.
Thomas, number 32, moving up. That green spot on the number means he moves up on the last lap.
Looks like Vuillemin's pants are coming undone, or I don't know. Yeah, they are.
It's happened before. Remember what happened to McGrath?
I hope he's got clean underwear. Well, it's one of those times where you have to have it. But those things are coming off. That happened to Jeremy McGrath. Yeah, San Diego last year. He did the splits when he got all sideways, and Carmichael passed him for the lead there in his first win.
Oh, look at this. Right behind Ramsey. I'm impressed with Clark holding close to the 4-stroke.
Yeah, he's getting a good ride right here. He's riding in 5th. We got a bunch of guys on our tail. We got Nick Way coming and Pavoni battling. But he'll get a good spot to the starting line for the semi. Should be able to get him into the main event, or rather he get us into the main event.
Ryan Clark out of Albuquerque, New Mexico with LCRRacing.com. He's got our helmet cam on here with the qualifier. Only the top 4 transfer directly to the main. So Ramsey's got that final spot. Wait to see if Clark can put some more pressure on him. Vuillemin with a 1.6-second lead right now.
See all the different lines with the approach of that triple. Clark coming up a little bit short, but he had to go for the triple anyway, just so he wouldn't get past.
That's Waugh, number 40, and here's a battle for the lead now. Number 11 on the Kawasaki. It's Ezra Lusk. He's trying to put pressure on David Vuillemin.
Now, Ezra's done a great job here this weekend. He didn't ride yesterday's practice session because he's sick. I don't think he's feeling 100% right now, but he went out and practiced and got the track dialed right away. He was the second fastest in the first session. And taking it to Vuillemin here, who was the fastest in the second session. So Ezra's got the speed in Houston.
Ezra with the 5th place in New Orleans. Holding on to 3rd place tie in the standings with Stephane Roncada. He's only 4 points separating 3rd through 5th. As Matt, he's in 5th place.
And as we stand right now, Ezra's got the fastest lap in the race at 103.8. Just a few tenths faster than Vuillemin out front. That's when Ezra caught him. Ever since he caught him, he won't hasn't been able to do much. What you really can't see that Ezra's feeling is that roost coming off the back of Vuillemin. The dirt in this stadium is excellent, but it hurts when you get hit by it. All those little pieces of dirt packed so nice clay.
The dirt was already in the dome. Look at this. Ezra Lusk battling it out. Oh, we got a roost into our camera. Oh, my gosh. Lusk.
I don't think he was going to have any of that block passing that Vuillemin did to him. He thought he passed him fair, and Vuillemin cut across the corner. As he really should have. He had to go back in there and get it back, but Lusk is going, all right, no more of that. He looks back just to let him know, hey, buddy, I ain't messing around. I got to get a win. You got one. I don't have one yet. I need it.
Ezra Lusk looking for his first win of the season as he has 11 career victories, and Vuillemin goes off the track. Will he get back on to qualify?
Well, that messed up Vuillemin's concentration, obviously. And what he doesn't need to do is start worrying about these Kawasaki guys. They got in a little bit of a deal last week with Roncada. I didn't really think Roncada did anything that bad after reviewing the tape, but here's Vuillemin going off the track. He comes up a little bit short of that jump. There's just no time to make that left-hand corner. Then you got from there to the first jump of that triple about maybe 30 or 40 more feet to jump 65 feet. So everything's got to be precise or you end up on the cement like Vuillemin did.
Lusk, Ramsey, Clark are top three with Nick Way a chance to qualify directly to the main event. He's tied for top privateer honors. Way.
Now it's the rider going down. Kevin Townsend pushing his bike off the track. Just as we went by up into the CE Mountain. Nick Way all over Clark.
Clark's in the final transfer spot, and Way wants it. Number 26 on the Yamaha. Flat pass. Nick Way. Nick Way is one of only two privateers to make the main in every event this year. Heath Voss and Nick Way. Far to far we go. Nick Way's right in front of our helmet cam right now. That's Clark.
Well, we got to get Way or we got to go to the semi.
It tells us how private this sport has really come, especially for the privateer. He was offered a ride on the factory Suzuki to take the place of the injured Vuillemin, as well as the injured Pastrana. But no, that would ruin his privateer status. $25,000 for the top privateer at the end of the season.
Plus, I just don't think he wanted to wreck the groove he had right now and upset the... I got a knack from Ezra. He didn't want to upset the balance he has over there at Moto Triple X. That team's been working well, and he feels he can do good. And what happens to him when that Suzuki ride goes away? He might be kind of left hanging.
He's made over $8,000 in bonus money this year as the checkered flag is up. Ezra Lusk takes another qualifying victory.
Well, we're going to see... You know what? We're going to see something. Last week... Sternson, Team Kawasaki manager, and Keith McCarty, the manager for Yamaha. They got into it a little bit because of Vuillemin and
they had a little pushing match there.
And here we go again. It's not Roncada this time, but Lusk. And both times, I really don't think they did anything wrong. They were just racing and didn't. It just got a little ugly because Ezra didn't want to have any of it. Ezra's serious.
Well, congratulations to Clark. He ran as hard as he possibly could, but he will have to go to the semifinals. As we take a look now at the Honda leaderboard, it's Ezra Lusk, our winner, with David Vuillemin getting back on the track for second place. Nathan Ramsey in third. Nicholas Way, the privateer, goes directly to the main event with Sebastien Waugh and others headed toward the semifinals. So all kinds of excitement once again with Kawasaki in the center of it along with Vuillemin. We'll be right back. Great crowd on hand here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, getting ready for the 250 second qualifier. Let's take a look at the lineup right now as we've got Ricky Carmichael leading the 250s by 10 points coming into the Astrodome, along with Stephane Roncada, who's tied for third in the points. Jeremy McGrath, he's 4 points back in fifth. He could move up very easily. Ernesto Fonseca, Heath Voss, and we're off for the running with the 250s. On the inside, but out in front. It's Kyle Lewis, the veteran privateer. He's getting a challenge from Ricky Carmichael, number 4. Carmichael to the inside, easily takes the lead.
We're looking at all this from Roncada's view. He tucks to the inside, a couple riders going down. Got a good run at the woods. Look at that pack already way ahead of Stephane. He's got his work cut out for him to get into the main.
Carmichael taking the early lead. It's Tim Ferry in second place. Jeremy McGrath in third. Heath Voss in fourth. Those are the qualifying positions, but a lot of fast riders right in back of him. I expect Roncada, who's 3 riders back, to be right up on their tail.
Well, this should be good. 2 Floridian out in front. Jeremy trying to chase him down. It was Carmichael and Ferry running 1-2 at Daytona. Here they are again. Look at this triple.
McGrath, number 2.
Unbelievable. That's the same distance as the other triples, but it's right out of the corner, and the face is a couple feet higher, so it shoots these guys another 5-8 feet in the air.
Check out the entire field. Carmichael, Ferry, McGrath, Voss, Lewis in 5th. Then it's Roncada. Johnson, Huffman, Fonseca way back. Crook, Slaney, Manny, Castillo. 2 Butlers, Ramsicle, and McBride.
Look at that. Just slingshotting out of that corner. The double and triple through that section. They work their way to the triple staircase up TE Mountain, and there's some deep ruts getting formed up in there. It's like an outdoor race.
David, that'd be interesting to hear what Ezra Lusk had to say after the confrontation with David Vuillemin, and it was Davey Combs who talked with him.
Ezra, what an exciting start to your night.
Yeah, I didn't start out that well this week, but I made it here. You know, we got all the food poisoning out of me this week, and we're ready to go. I had a lot of fun. It was just a fun race.
What did David say to you after the race? We saw him pull up and talk to you.
I don't know. I don't understand French. I think he said that, you know, he's sorry or whatever. I said, you know, I won't do it if you won't do it. And he kind of acted like he was going to do it back, but I'm from the old school. Brian Swink told me how to do that.
Well, good job, Ezra. No smacks on the helmet.
Yeah, I hope he don't slap me because I hit back.
He's from Georgia. Look out.
Yeah, Ezra, these guys don't like to get blocked past. And, you know, I don't know that it was that bad what was done to him, but he didn't like it, so he went in the next corner and got it straight. I'm sure they'll talk a little bit about it and settle it, and we won't see any more of that in the main, but if we do, obviously, Ezra's going to let him have it.
Well, you remember when Ezra Lusk was having such a great rivalry with Jeremy McGrath, and there was a lot of controversy there because Lusk, he put some plastic on McGrath.
Yeah, none of these guys like to ride that way, but there's a few of them that if they're forced to, can do a good job at it and get the final say. Ezra's one of them. He knocked McGrath down, I think, at one point, bumped him to come from behind and get that win in Phoenix years ago.
And number 4, Ricky Carmichael, that's the last thing on his mind, a block pass. We go back to our helmet cam with Roncada. Roncada back in 6th when he crossed the finish line the last time. And he's looking right now at the back of Lewis. Stephane's mechanic, Dan Worley, you see the headphones on there and the microphone, but there's no communication with riders in Supercross. He's getting spotters views from the stands as we check out the helmet cam with Stephane Roncada as our rider spotlight.
Listen in, Stephane, just getting his signal board. These guys don't always talk for us. It's kind of like trying to get your car to make that noise it's been making when you take it to the shop. It doesn't do it. Hear how hard Stephane is on the power. I love listening to these guys. They all have a little different style. You can hear how hard he is on the power out of all those corners. Now watch this triple from the inside. 65 feet without a run. These guys are about 25, 30 feet in the air. They come up short on that one. It doesn't feel too good. You can see that camera up on top of his helmet. Give us these great shots. It's been a long time since we had a camera on one of the front runners. Nothing against Ryan Clark. I appreciate these guys carrying that camera around, but to really have a camera on it, I'm running a second last weekend. We can do the same thing again here tonight. We might have all that on tape. So I'm glad he decided to run it and hope he has a good night. Doesn't think it's bad luck to run this camera. The last time we had on somebody good was McGrath. He had a bad race and hasn't worn it since.
Landed on top of Michael Craig, and that's the last we saw of the helmet cam on McGrath. Stephane Roncada finding himself though in that three-way battle with Lusk and McGrath for third place in the championship points. Had an off day at Daytona with one of his best races of the season. Starting at 70, passed Vuillemin a lap 10 for second, tying his all-time 250 best, the second. Also had the second in the final Anaheim race, Anaheim 3.
This is a section where a lot of riders are having problems trying to figure out what's the best line, inside or outside, in both these corners. If Stephane was trying to keep somebody off his tail, he would have gone to the inside in both those corners. He protected the inside there a little bit better as well. But he's running all by himself right now. He can afford to swing wide and get a good run on everything.
So while Roncada is in the final transfer spot, number 4, in back of McGrath, here's our leader, Ricky Carmichael. He's got a 2.47-second lead on second place, Tim Ferry.
That's not much, but he's just inching away little by little. He has the fastest lap so far of all the 250s at a 103.5 to Lusk 103.8. So Ricky, once again, like he always does, demanding that fastest lap in the practice. Although Vuillemin beat him out in the second practice session, he wasn't far behind. Goes right out here in this heat race and establishes himself as the fastest rider. Puts pressure on everyone. They have to ride perfect. I think why we're seeing a lot of guys go down this year.
Here in the four-stroke of Tim Ferry in second place with less than 2 laps to go in our second qualifier. Ferry's had an interesting year on that four-stroke Yamaha. He's had his ups and downs. He started the season with an injury, got a real slow start. In fact, he had to have arthroscopic surgery, but then came back a little soon, I thought, because he just didn't have the endurance when he got back to the bike.
Going up this triple staircase, you can see those ruts starting to develop. Jeremy through the inside. This one was the first one, but it's bumpy coming out, so the riders are starting to go to the inside, or they can go all the way wide. That stays a little bit more consistent. You can go through there a little faster, but it's farther distance around. There goes Roncada. They're going to probably get up there with the tractor before the main event and try to fill those in a little bit, because right now they're up to the foot.
Dirt for this evening's race was already in the dome, left over from the rodeo. They just had to have a pooper scooper come in a little bit, rearrange it, you know. But it is in tremendous shape. In fact, with the dirt already in, that gave Clear Channel the opportunity to give all the privateers Thursday's practice, only for privateers, because they don't have practice tracks. They're riding from race to race, driving, and they don't have time to practice until they get to the site. It's a great idea for Clear Channel. You know, Ricky looked a little squirrely going through those whoops, didn't he?
Well, he crashed there. You know, we've already showed that in practice. And he's been the fastest guy through there. And occasionally, if you're going through there that fast, you're going to hit one and get a little out of shape. But the good thing for Ricky is that he's used to that. It doesn't bother him. When it happens to other riders, they tend to let off the throttle. He just keeps his hand.
So a near 5-second lead. He's taking his time as he approaches the checkered flag. Carmichael raises his hand in salute. He's back on the winning way of winning a qualifier. It's his 8th qualifier win this year. Check out Carmichael going through the whoops as we have to take a break from the Astrodome in Houston. You're watching EA Sports Supercross from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Checking out the Suzuki results of our second qualifying heat in the 250s, with only the first 4 getting the transfer to the main: Carmichael, Ferry, McGrath, and Stephane Roncada. The rest of the riders on their way to the semifinal round. Our upcoming events look like this. April 6th in St. Louis, Missouri. Then it's on to Pontiac, Michigan, Dallas, Texas, and Salt Lake City, rounding out the month of April on April 27th. Checking out the helmet cams as we go to break from the Astrodome in Houston, worn by Ryan Clark and Stephane Roncada. We'll be right back with main event action. We're back in the Houston Reliant Astrodome as the concession stands are Doing a good business right now as we have a little break time. It's time for a Honda close-up featuring the exciting style and aggressive riding nature of Ricky Carmichael.
Well, after suffering this horrendous crash at round 1, clawing his way through the air, mild concussion, broken hand. It actually yanked LaRocco's left hand off as he went by on the tire. He's been the one inflicting the pain. Contact with Pastrana in Indianapolis. Goes on to finish second behind Vuillemin. This is last week in New Orleans. Applying the pressure. Ramsey was already on his way down, as is Ferry here. So it's not dirty riding by Carmichael. It's aggressive riding that's forcing these guys to make mistakes.
Just around the corner is our main event. McGrath looking for his first win of the season. RC tries to win his 5th in a row. Can Vuillemin recover from a distracting qualifier? It's all coming up next from Houston. $44,528 in attendance in the Reliant Astrodome here in Houston, Texas. Getting set for the 250s now as things have formed up pretty well. Here's the semifinal results with the top 5 advancing to the main event. Ernesto Fonseca winning the 2nd semifinal with Kyle Lewis and lost the promising Privateer. Our Nissan Last Chance qualifiers, Mason and Halfward, get into their first 250 main events of the season. The Suzuki starting grid now with Carmichael, Lusk, Ferry, and Vuillemin all with the fast times, and McGrath, Nathan Ramsey on that 4-stroke. Jeff Gibson once again in both the 125 main and the 250 lane for his 5th Ironman performance of the year.
See Ezra right now compressing the forks and pushing the little button. There's a button on those Ricky's left fork tube right there, just above that Dunlop sticker. You see the black button? That's what holds the forks down, drops the front end of the bike about 3 inches so they don't wheelie off the line as much.
30-second board is up. When that goes sideways, there's 5 to 10 seconds, and that gate will drop, and we'll have our main event from Houston underway.
There's number 54, Ryan Clark, to the top of his helmet. He made it out of that semi into the main event, so we have 2 helmet cameras, one on Roncada, another Frenchman right now, although he's living in the U.S., he wants to be known as an American, David Vuillemin.
And we're set to go. Off and running in Houston. Oh, McGrath getting caught behind Ferry. Tim Ferry, number 15 on the Yamaha. He gets the Powerade hole shot. Tim Ferry, and look at that, Ezra Lusk just pops into the lead. Great move by Ezra Lusk. Ramsey's there, Ferry's there, Vuillemin in good position. And right now, number 11 on the Kawasaki, Ezra Lusk.
I'm impressed. This is Roncada. Terrible start all around behind Brian Mason. That's Huffman right there in front of us. This is what it looks like when you don't get the start. Where are you going to make a pass right there? There's nowhere to go.
David Huffman, number 20 on the Suzuki.
Tries to tuck to the inside right there and make something happen. Doesn't get a good run at the whoops. You see how much momentum he loses.
And meanwhile, out front, we've got a new leader. Ramsey on the 4-stroke Honda has passed Ezra Lusk with Ricky Carmichael right behind Lusk.
Yeah, I got the feeling that Ramsey was a little upset with himself for making that mistake going down last week in New Orleans. He felt like he had a shot at the podium at least.
He had a great start in 2nd place, didn't he?
Yeah, he was still ahead of Carmichael. He was putting pressure on him, but still, he was mad. And he wants to fix that this weekend. See Ezra right there reaching over and making an adjustment to his clutch. He looked great. He was sick coming into this race. He didn't ride yesterday's practice. He looked great in the heat right away. Up front, ahead of Ricky Carmichael. These guys switched rides. They're riding each other's bikes from last year. See what happens between these two. There comes Ricky.
On the inside, Carmichael making the move for 2nd place, but Ezra Lusk coming right back. Oh, Ezra's not willing to get that up easily, that's for sure, to the points leader.
Well, Ricky might not have another chance to get around Ezra. He showed him where he's got a chance of getting by. If Ezra knows Ricky's that close and all the laps that remain, he won't leave that door open again. That best line is getting more narrow. McGrath getting around Vuillemin, who left it a little bit wide before the triple. So McGrath on pace with the leaders right now.
Well, that's a good battle. Back and forth we go. Vuillemin regains the position on McGrath.
Beautiful move, and Ezra goes down.
Ezra went down. He's out of 2nd. Oh, and Vuillemin and got caught on the back tire.
I don't think Jeremy meant to do that. Of course, right for Yamaha. He doesn't want to make things any more difficult on Vuillemin. That was an accident. Jeremy jumped across and just caught his front tire. At least it wasn't a Kawasaki this time. Vuillemin hasn't had the best of luck with those guys.
There's Ramsey, number 25, and Ricky Carmichael 1 and 2 now without Lusk between them. This ought to be interesting now. They're teammates. Ricky Carmichael, the points leader. Let's take another look.
This is Ezra just trying to get going, and Jeremy jumps across right to the line of Vuillemin. Didn't mean that. Vuillemin going down. Ezra doing a good job of getting around him without running over him. So Ezra makes things a little bit easier for Carmichael. Gets right up into second. Doesn't have to make that pass that I talked about. Might be tough.
So we've had a lot of people hit the deck here in the 250 main event in the Astrodome. Don't forget, you can hear these races live on the webcast, ESPN.com, the keyword Supercross. It doesn't look like number 25 of the four-stroke Honda, Nathan Ramsey, wants to give up that lead easily because he's given it a good fight, David.
Now he looks super right now. And he's got that mistake from last week fresh in his mind. Don't blow it. Just ride smart. And these guys ride together at the Honda test track, the Supercross track. Ramsey knows what the strengths and weaknesses are of Ricky Carmichael. As long as he doesn't leave the door open anywhere and make a major mistake, he should be able to hold on to this lead pretty good, because Ricky's not going to do anything stupid to his teammate. He'll be patient right now because he has no pressure from third.
In New Orleans, he crashed to 17th on the second lap, and in 11 laps, he picked up 10 spots for a sixth-place finish. He had a good comeback try after that crash, but I know it frustrated him and maddened him a little bit.
These guys are just having a good time out there. I'll tell you what, I think for Ramsey right now, he's just going, yeah, I'm in the lead. This feels good.
Here comes Carmichael, though, giving a little test in the whoop section, showing a wheel. We still got a long way to go here in the 20-lap main event.
I'll tell you what could be the difference, though, is Ramsey doesn't expect or really want to win this main event, I don't think, as bad as Ricky does. Ricky expects it. And I think he feels right now like, I'll get him eventually. As long as I don't get the pressure in third, just go ahead, enjoy riding behind my teammate, let Ramsey have the limelight for a little bit, but it's obvious that Ricky is all over him. He should be able to get by, but you know, every time he comes to the whoops, he's a little shaky. And he had some problems there. He crashed there in practice.
McGrath, don't forget, is in third place now that Lusk has gone down, so maybe Davey Coates' prediction that he might get on the podium or even possibly be in position to win could happen if something should happen to these two guys out in front, if they just simply pulled away.
Look at the pressure. Carmichael really starting to force Ramsey.
Oh, Ramsey had the loose rear end, and then Carmichael darn near landed on top of the hay bale.
I don't believe the saves that Carmichael. People are going to look at this tape. Oh, here he comes again.
Ramsey powers by him. That would have put both of them down if he'd have connected with him.
If that was a Yamaha or a Kawasaki, that would have been a pass. But going back to Carmichael's saves, this guy's unbelievable. The strength that he has to get so out of shape. He rode on those tough blocks and still managed to keep it upright. Just amazing.
But Nathan Ramsey has been able to keep the advantage on a rather complacent Ricky Carmichael. He has shown him some wheel and some pressure. Let's get an opinion from trackside now with Davey Combs. Davey?
We're watching this battle with Ricky Carmichael. Keep this in mind. This could be a historic night for RC. He's got 63 career wins. That is one less than Rick Johnson for number 2 on the all-time win list. The leader, of course, Jeremy McGrath with 89. We used to think no one's going to get that record, but at this rate, Carmichael could have that record by the end of the 2004 season.
Ricky Carmichael gives us quite an experience through the whoops. Let me explain that Davey was talking about combined motocross and supercross wins. The Jeremy McGrath has 89 of those. 72 of those are in 250 supercross.
Well, it looks to me like if Ricky chose to ride long enough, he could have all those records. He's got just about everything so far. Although Stewart just upped him in the amateur ranks. He's got that 125 national record, and when you look at his win percentage, it's only taken probably about 5 more years to go ahead and collect all the records. And, you know, people question if he's going to ride that long. I think Ricky loves to race. He'll do it.
Hey, McGrath record in sight, he might just hang on. Nathan Ramsey, though, is our surprise leader with Ricky Carmichael right on his tail. Welcome back to the Astrodome. Supercross action with Nathan Ramsey, number 25, and number 4, Ricky Carmichael, out in front of number 2, Jeremy McGrath. McGrath, a 5-time winner here in Houston, is looking for his second podium of the year.
And I don't think he's going to get it, Art. It looks like he's starting to ride a little tense or slow down. He might be thinking, I better get Vuillemin in position to scoop up 2 more points. So watch for him to fade a little bit here at the end on purpose. And Carmichael looks impatient to me. Like I said, he expects to win more. Here he comes again.
Carmichael saying hello to Nathan, saying, hey, I didn't want to hit you, but I should be out in front. Oh, they scrape a little bit there.
Yeah, Nathan can feel this pressure now.
So Ricky Carmichael's made up his mind. It's time to make a move, and here he goes. Arm to arm with Nathan Ramsey. They look at each other. Nathan gives him a nod. And the clean block pass. I'll see you later.
And, you know, it makes sense, just like I said, for Jeremy to give Vuillemin a couple of points. If, in fact, that's what he does. For Nathan to get out of the way and let Ricky win this race. But I'll tell you what, even if that weren't the case, Ricky demands the lead here. He's followed him long enough. It's time for him to make the move. And it goes back to what I said. He expects to win all these races. And I think Ramsey would just be too happy to be in second place with this race. So, of course, that's going to be the difference in their speed down the stretch. Roncada through the whoop section. Not having the kind of night we were hoping, but maybe these guys are coming around and lap him. They're catching him pretty quick. We'll get a look at what it looks like when Carmichael and Ramsey go by through the mechanics area.
Less than 6 laps to go, David. Carmichael makes the pace.
Well, you could see that it was going to happen, but it surprised me that Ramsey stayed out there that long. You know, let's go back to that time where he got all out of shape, Carmichael, and went up onto those tough blocks and the whoops. He could have tossed it away right there and given Ramsey this win. So Ramsey did the right thing by riding hard up till about the halfway point, and then, okay, he's still there. Let me just go ahead and give it to him.
Yeah, but gosh, isn't it tough to give up the possible first win on a 250? I don't even care if it is your teammate.
Yeah, I know. It is a tough one.
Deep in your heart. There's Ricky Carmichael now starting to put a little room. And he's lapping Ryan Clark as we go on board with Ryan to check the backside of Ricky Carmichael.
Oh, look at the air off that triple right out of the corner. It just amazes me the explosiveness of these guys. To be able to jump that high and far without much of a run. Here comes Ramsey. Clark does the right thing, moves a little wide to let him through, and you can already see the gap between Carmichael and Ramsey now in just a lap. So Ramsey, I have a feeling, was just doing all that he could do to try to hold him off for that long. It did a beautiful job, but as soon as Ricky gets around, it's see you later.
Ryan Clark through the whoops, trying to catch up with Ramsey.
Through that rhythm section right there. The guys aren't tripling through there like they did in practice. Carmichael doesn't have the pressure, doesn't have the really feel the need to have to do that. And when he made the pass, he actually went to the inside. Those tough blocks got moved for some reason. And he saw that line and just completely, I guess you can't say he cut the track, but because those tough blocks were gone, he kind of did for that pass for the lead.
Lusk has moved into third in front of Jeremy McGrath. Fulfilling your prediction, really,
yeah,
David.
I could see it coming. And as you know, watch this. We'll see what Jeremy does here.
David Vuillemin, number 12. They look at each other. Almost similar to what Ricky Carmichael did with Nathan Ramsey, and it's David Vuillemin picking up a couple of points.
Yeah, Vuillemin was given that. Jeremy didn't put up a fight, and it makes sense. You know, Vuillemin, he'll drop another 7 points, it looks like, if he stays where he is tonight. So the gap will go from 10 to 17. It's starting to grow, but you know, you got to give him the points. You never know what can happen to Carmichael.
And a very important top privateer battle as well. Voss has the edge on Nick Way in 3 positions, and they came into this race tied for top honors. There's Voss in 7th. And then Way in 10th position. Our Honda stopwatch as we check out Carmichael and Vuillemin's last lap and this lap, the interval.
Carmichael's in cruise control, and he's still just a little bit faster than Vuillemin. He was actually second to Vuillemin in the second practice session this afternoon. You know, so many people are looking at the way Vuillemin's riding right now with that third last week in New Orleans and having the fastest lap time here today after the practice session and riding well here in the main event up in 4th place. We're like, why couldn't this guy ride in Daytona? Did he give that championship away? But, you know, there's two ways to look at it. One is he took the easy way out. The other is that there's no track rougher or longer main event in the season than Daytona. If you took one look at that track, it seemed like a too overwhelming attack.
Well, Keith McCarty also made a point that if you're not mentally ready, you're almost endangering yourself out there as well as other riders if you're not ready.
Well, there goes Ricky. He just disappears from Roncada. And Roncada was second last week. And Ricky, they were at the press conference after the race. Vuillemin wasn't because he was icing down his shoulder, and they were asked about that. You know, what do you think of Vuillemin? They both kind of smiled and shook their head like, I don't see how a guy who didn't ride the last round can come out and ride like he did tonight. He's backing up again here in Houston, and I don't know. That's a championship. I've ridden with broken feet, a broken wrist. I had a broken fibula, my lower leg, and you do what you got to do if you want a title.
And Ricky Carmichael, he wants that title. Should he win this race and sweep the remaining 5 this season, he would tie Bob Hannah for 3rd on the all-time Supercross win list with 27 wins. The way he's looking right now, looks like he's got the best shot to do it.
Now, it looks like whatever Ricky wants, he can get. He rides the hardest, probably rides the most of any rider out there. He trains the hardest, probably. He's the hardest on himself with the highest expectations. And I think he's the one guy out in this field, besides maybe Lusk, that is really unhappy with anything other than first.
Speaking of Lusk, here's Ezra. Number 11 on the Kawasaki, moving that tough block out of the way. Scott Goggle, tough block.
This could be, it really should be his 5th podium in a row. He had it in Minneapolis. He won his heat, looked great. He went down the last lap, kind of a goofy little fall. He won his heat again in Atlanta, and he had a crash in the first lap with Fonseca. It kind of ruined his chances, but he was on line for a podium there. Then he did get a podium, a hard-fought one against Tortelli in Daytona, the roughest track. And he's got another one here. Last week, he was up front, had a silly fall in the early laps that cost him the podium there. But Ezra, it's good to see him back up to speed, at least looking at that podium each week.
Ezra's one of only 2 riders to win here in Houston on a 125 and a 250. He won the 125 race here in '94 and the 250 race in '98. The only other rider besides Ezra to win on both bikes here?
McGrath?
No, but it's close. Jeff Hemming.
Oh.
Jeff Hemming won.
You got to say McGrath.
A 5-time 250 winner. He never won here on a 125.
Yeah, I wasn't really going out on a limb with that guess.
Ricky Carmichael just in cruise control right now. The white flag is out. We're on the final lap.
Lap times have gone from 103s earlier to 107s now. This is where LaRocco, it's where you really miss a guy like that, because when the race starts to become a little bit of a yawner towards the end, like this one has, this is when LaRocco is fighting his way from whatever kind of start he got up front, because his lap times don't drop. If anything, they stay the same or get a little faster towards the end. So I don't know about Ricky out front, but I definitely know that if LaRocco was in this fight and not in a cast right now, that Ramsey's second place would be in jeopardy.
So even in cruise control, you could see the tremendous lead that Ricky Carmichael has gained here as we're in our last lap of action from the Astrodome. Ricky looking for his 7th win on the season. His 22nd career 250 Supercross victory.
He's been whipping it huge off this finish line jump. We'll see if he does it.
Carmichael, the pyrotechnics go off, and he wins his 7th of the season. He'll congratulate his teammate, I know, Nathan Ramsey, who had the best race of his 250 career. We'll be back. And speaking of Honda, Hondas. It was a battle of Hondas here in the Astrodome. As we go to our Honda results page, Carmichael, Ramsey, Lusk on the podium, with Vuillemin moving up to 4th place. Gibson, the Iron Man, taking an 18th place. Our EA Sports Rider of the Week is with our Davey Combs. Davey?
Well, Ricky, it looked like you battling with your teammate Nathan Ramsey. That's about the most fun you can have on a dirt bike.
It was fun, but there were scary moments out there. I had the good Lord on my side. I think I was on top of the bales going through the whoops at one time. I tried to pass him, and man, I was all over the place. That's what everyone thinks about me, you know. And
look at this tracking.